Here on the main stage, we have the leadership for lean transformation, the GRYB case. Okay, so I will leave you with Canada with Jean-Francois. Nice to see you, Jean-Francois.
Nice to see you, Chris. Thank you. Good afternoon from Canada. Thank you for joining us today. So now we will have another very good presentation session with on a real case at GRYB International with René Gamache. So please, during the presentation, if you have questions, don't hesitate. Use the button on the below on the screen, the Q&A button, to send us your questions, and we'll answer them at the end of the meeting. So without furthermore waiting, I'll leave the stage to René and have a great presentation.
Okay, thank you, Jean-Francois. Hello, everybody. My name is René Gamache. It's my pleasure to be here and talk to you about leadership for lean transformation. Personally, I'm very passionate about lean, and I've been doing it for quite a few years. So it's a real pleasure to be here and be able to talk to you about this. So it's I'm really excited about this, and I hope you enjoy this session. So I'm going to talk to you about our company, GRYB International, and the challenges that we had over the last couple of years, more specifically on how we applied lean leadership to achieve success and get through these challenges. So just a bit of information. GRYB International is a company that grew fast over the last 15 years, and I'd say very fast over the last 3 years. Okay, so this growth changed the business. It was a major challenge to stay focused and aligned while we had excessive labor shortages. So it's even more challenging. We've heard about leadership and stuff like that, but it becomes even more important when we're living through labor shortages, and I'll talk about that more in detail. So for us, it was the questions of how do we align our team to stay focused on the right things and getting them done. So I'll show you today what we did to make this happen in GRYB. So I'm going to start with the context and situation. Then I'm going to go into the leadership challenge that we had, strategic alignment, and then into deployment. So how do we get this strategy together and then deploy that through to all the employees? So the owners, Remy and Luc, approached me in 2019 when I was a lean consultant, and they approached me to work with them on reducing inventories. Now I'm a GRYB employee supporting all the plants in material management and supply chain. I have over 35 years experience in building lean material and supply chain systems. Over the years, I've worked extensively with ex-Toyota leaders like Rick Harris, Robert Martichenko, and as well as Jean-Francois Gadet from the Canada Lean Institute. We work together often on different projects throughout my past. So that's it for the intro. Let's jump in. So here, just putting things into context, at GRYB we experienced like major growth, so which created major challenges, and we had major challenges with that also. So on the timeline you see up top here is it was established in 2007 in the owner's basement, and then they built the facility in 2009. Did many expansions right up to 2019, and then from 2019, that's where it really took off. So from 2019 to 2022, growth from 25 million per year to 325 million per year, major. So these were this was major challenge. And through that also, we had very high demand for all the products. We were going through labor shortages. And I'm sure, we weren't alone in this. There was a lot of companies going through that. Even in Canada here, we were recruiting offshore from different countries. We had a high employee turnover rate because there was so many jobs available. Everybody was like, people were leaving, jumping from one job to another just to get a better salary and try to get better benefits and all that. So it was like really high turnover. We had young, inexperienced people in the organization. So with these vacancies all around, people were we were actually having people grow into positions where they weren't experienced in, but we had no choice because we were at a lack of resources, right? And then on top of that, as you know, COVID and economic uncertainty, downturn. So these were big challenges. So putting that all together with the manufacturing sites, from 1 to 8 manufacturing sites, 150 employees to 1,000 GRYB international employees, and the growth, as I mentioned, 25 million to 325 million. So that's basically the context that we were doing this. Just a bit of information also about business, market, and products that we do at GRYB. So we're in scrap and recycling. So this is basically what they call a grapple. So it's like has fingers and picks up scrap in scrap yards for recycling. This one has a magnet on it. Some have magnets, some not. This is also a magnetics. This is used more in the steel industry. So that's another one of our business divisions. We also have business divisions in forestry and cutting. Bulk material handling, you see at ports a lot. And also construction. So construction is the plant I'm going to be talking about. So that gives you a bit of an idea of the different products we make. Moving on. So I'm going to talk to you about a specific example from the original GRYB manufacturing plant. So they make excavator attachments. It's like attachments for heavy equipment. That's basically our business. And in this case, it's a specific plant that we make these excavators, as you see on the screen, that we attach to heavy equipment. So the business is about 45% custom and about 55% standard, repeatable products. They make approximately 60 attachments per day that we ship out of this plant. So it's pretty impressive, very complex. So the challenge really, with all this growth, the GRYB has reached the size which requires transformation in the way they operate to be able to support the continued growth. So now the things that they were doing no longer apply because it's gotten so big. We need to create a culture with continuous improvement, with the right behaviors, align and meet the organization aspirations. So it was big, and then we had all these different business units. So it was like, okay, this was growth quick. So many different things going on, different visions, different ideas, a real complex dynamic. So we needed to mobilize the team to focus on the right things and get them done. Okay, so I mean that's always the things that we try to do. But I just mentioned that really with the shortage of labor, it's like even more and more important. We see that through this process that we did. So Remy and Luc, the owners, they identified the need to change, and they were asking me questions about how do we make those changes? What do you think? And whoops, I'll just step back a bit because I just noticed I just forgot the key point, a couple of key points I wanted to mention. The key points that you see there is like there was the two main owners, Luc and Remy, left this business unit, the construction business unit, to work on global expansion because they had like the other seven business units to start to get in line and work with. So that was a major change. So these two big leaders are leaving the plant, and now it's like people that are there are taking over. So that was major change. We also had 75% of the GRYB managers were new. So 9 out of the 12 were new. With the people with Luc and Remy that left, they promoted from within, and then there was people that left. So we had to promote some people within, get new people in. So it was like major change. This year, the objective was to continue to grow this plant from 32 million to 40 million. So, like I said, Remy and Luc were asking me, okay, what do you think we should do? And me, I was like, okay, I've been through a lot of things, but my expertise wasn't really around strategy. So after a few months, I started to get to understand the business and see what was going on in that. And I proposed to them that they do a strategic review to get focused and get help from an expert to do that, because they needed to be accompanied there, and I didn't have that expertise, but they really needed to have someone that could accompany them and coach them. So I talked to them about Jean-François Godet, and they agreed. So then I contacted Jean-François, and he's very highly qualified in this type of thing. I worked with Jean-François Godet in the past, and he did some great transformations and strategic alignment in business. So we called Jean-François, and he came in and started to help us with these challenges. Moving on. This is what Jean-François helped us to do, the ocean method of strategic planning. Okay, so really establishing what's the true north, okay, what's the main focus, okay, for this, and through the exercises, Jean-François had some workshops, exercises with different people in the business to align. So the alignment for the GRYB plant was to become the construction attachment company. So that was the first thing, getting aligned with True North. We want to be the construction attachment company. And that was a good question, because there was a lot of different products that were custom coming in, and it was almost like saying not taking everything, right? So it was like really hard to get efficiency, and it was impacting capacity and all that. So this was the first step. Then Jean-François, he also facilitated the SWOT at the beginning of 2022. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So different workshops with the team to do that. And then, so that from that, we got the focus for 2023 was to look at service, cost, innovation. And those basically just below in terms of numbers and targets, it was like sales to get 40 million in 2023, an EBITDA of 4.6 million, and to target a on-time delivery of 95%. So that was the focus. So now with the focus, then it was to look at, okay, what are specific actions? Where do they lie, the specific actions? And that's where, sorry about that. That's where we have here the orientations. So there was 3 orientations that came out of that also, which was orientation 1, expand our markets and develop better products. So that was to go get sales. Orientation 2 was cost management and cash flow management. So for the second point of the EBITDA, and then improve customer experience. So this was like the Washington plan, that 12-month plan that Jean-François helped us get aligned on and get the owners aligned. So this was a major milestone for us, because then it set the table. So then from there it was like, okay, we work on the A3s, objectives, and plans. So what this does is this is the first step in the alignment. So the idea was we're aligned now. So now it was getting the key stakeholders involved in building actions and plans around these 3 orientations. First step. So the idea was, here is an example of some action plans that we built. And this was one action plan with, well, actually it's 3 orientation documents with multiple action plans within each challenge. Okay, so within the orientation, you have different areas of focus to contribute to the redundancy, to those to the sales, to the EBIT, and to customer service. So each challenge has its own detailed activity plan and team to work on the problem. So already this sets the table to work on the right things and mobilize the team. It's really, this is where we're getting into the leadership. This step sets the table for leadership. Okay, to be able, it's like an enabler to be able to lead. So the people, by building this, they're getting aligned with this. They have action plans that are established, and then what we do is we have review meetings that are established. Okay, so review meetings can be normally we have more frequent at the beginning, because it's new for people. They have to get the hang of things, get used to what we're looking for. But in those review meetings and it's not just to go there and see and get on people's case because they're behind or what are you going to do. It's more an enabler to be able to communicate. So it's to be able to communicate, to be able to coach, to be able to support, and be able to also challenge. So an example in the communication is, getting the people to work on the right things. Okay, that's like, so this says, okay, each week or each month or each 2 weeks, we're going to look at this and we're going to see, okay, how are you going? How's it going? Didn't have time to work on it. Okay, we hear that a lot, right? So it's like, okay, well, show me what you're working on. What are you working on that's stopping you from doing this? So that just enables a forum where you can talk to the person and say, well, show me what you're working on. Okay, that's not really priority. So you can let that go for a few months and get focused on this. We can get back to that later. So the forum is like really creating a teamwork and alignment type of discussion. Okay. Moving on. Oh, here, not quite. So actually, just a little summary here. 2023, the focus. So we had 3 orientations. Okay, we had 17 different challenges within that, and then there was it involved all the 12 managers of the plan. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a specific example in one of the challenges. So I'm drilling down into the activity within orientation 2. So the challenge is inventory reduction. So this one is we're talking about cash flow focus. So we see what we're getting into more and more detail. So here, this is like the action plan that we established. And here within this action plan, the part that is inventory reduction. are these two parts here. So we have the raw material reduction, and then you don't see it, but here it's up here, it's raw material, and then down here is more finished goods. So moving on a bit, even more detail here. Then like we have the key steps that we need to go through. Okay, that in terms of the different steps to get aligned when we're going into more detail with the teams. So this was one specific team working on a certain challenge. So first of all, it's like involvement of key stakeholders, right? So we're getting on the same page. The first thing is get on the same page, onboarding the people, communicate expectations, clarifying roles. So we have the sponsor, which is usually the general manager. In this case, it was the general manager. The leader, which is normally the manager of the function. The team is team members, or maybe it could be cross-functional also. And then a coach, which was my role in this one here. So the second thing is that, okay, once we have this team together, we align with, okay, we communicate, right, the true north orientations. Okay, so priorities are cash flow, and this is more specifically inventory reduction. So from that comes the names of the people that are associated in this team. Yeah. Two very key parts, because 50% of success in terms of project is people. So this part is like really important. Technical part is 50, in my opinion, and we often forget the human side, but this is very important for change management and getting people on board. Then it's as we go down, we start working with the team, understanding of the challenge. Always data driven. Okay, where's the data? What does it look like? In this case, the data collect was done with the technique of plan for every part. Analysis based on customer consumption. So really, people know what customer consumption is all about, right? So we get orientated on customer consumption, and then pattern recognition and categorization. So when we do that, it's like, do we see any patterns that we can identify with inventory reduction through this analysis? So example, fast moving items versus slow moving items. So this is an example of the plan for every part that we did at the plant, just basic MTS stock, made to stock items, the description, here, part number. We had values of product and then time supply, but this was just a small part of plan for every part and what you could do with it. It was more around identifying where things that we could produce inventory. And it's coming from, this plan for every part is coming from Rick Harris's book, Making Materials Flow, which is an excellent book, very simple, but very powerful. Highly recommended. Moving on. So choose what to work on. That's where it's also a part of the challenging part. So the idea is set the table a bit more, is the true north, right? I've talked about that. But also what we want to do is results within the year. So we want to achieve results within the year. So look at results within the year and what are the resources that we have available to be able to work on this? What's their time? How can we have them work on this? Prioritize and set realistic objectives. So from that, we established an objective of 3.1 million. Which is a stretch. We want to try and stretch the team, but as we're doing that, we're working with the team so we can see what we can achieve and what we can't achieve. And so here are the example of the choices that we made in terms of pulling out what we wanted to work on, always looking at what's the biggest impact for what we're going to work on. So from this, we build our action plans, assign resources to that. And if we look at the results that we achieved during the year, well, we actually achieved 3.1, just over 3.1 million. And this was something that actually the team was like struggling with at the beginning, saying, whoa, that's going to be a real tough objective, but we actually achieved it. And this is great to achieve that in the first year. But even more, I think, in my opinion, that's more important is that the whole team is mobilized at the same plan. They've retaken this process for next year. And they're actually working on, right now, their fiscal year finished in September. So they're already working on the new strategic plans here on their own. They took the initiative on their own. Jean-Francois is helping them also, and I am coaching them. But we're more in coaching mode, and they have taken the ball on this one. So that's a really, really good achievement. I'd say also that the comments from the general manager that we talked to about after is, I said, how did you see this? He said, well, what was amazing was each person, it became clear for each person what they had to work. Before they were like not clear of what they had to work on, and now it became clear. It aligns people to work on the right things, right? That's his comments. And he said, we're going to continue with this process next year, in the fall next year. And also he said he wants to make more regular follow-ups, because he found that that was the part that probably he lacked the most of that. So that's my my presentation. So basically, this is the structure that we have to be able to apply leadership in lean transformations. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, René. So we're now ready to take some questions from the audience. So please use the Q&A button on the bottom of the screen. Just a quick question, René, just to start with. It looks like it was the first time your organization was looking in longer term, I would say, longer term thinking. What was the impact of having now a True North statement to your organization?
Well, obviously, it enabled people to get aligned. At the beginning, it was very much a reactive mode. People were like, each day it was a different priority, or each week it was changing depending on crisis situation. This allowed everybody to get aligned on the attachment company, right? And even I'd say that what we lived through was that actually people were, when we started working, or not me, but when the general manager started working on other things, the team would bring them back in line, saying, no, God, our True North is there. Why are we working on that? So it mobilized the team towards really achieving the True North and getting aligned, the whole team, right? So that was a major mobilization.
Thanks, René. We have other questions coming in. So one question is, how long was the initial strategic planning session? 2 days, 1 week, all at once, or over a period of time?
Excellent question. I guess probably Jean-Francois, you would probably be better answering now, because I wasn't involved in all those different.
Yeah, actually, the answer is on a period of time, because it's not like a one session thing. It's about how you move with the current state of the organization, with them moving on this process, which you showed earlier in the presentation, from making sure that they understand the True North and down to the
Yeah.
focus objective to the A3s.
Jean-Francois, sorry, but the time really is up here of this session. Again, guys, thank you very much for sharing, and see you at the lobby.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Chris. Bye-bye.